Cam Boyd and the Montreal Expos hosting the Cincinnati Reds in Tuesday night action. We start in the top of the first inning. This is Eric Davis in pain after straining his right quadricep muscle. He injured himself running out a ground ball to first base. He left the game after this injury. Then in the bottom of the second inning, Larry Walker lines a double to the left center field gap. It scores Kenny Williams from second base, and the Expos led 1-0. The Reds scored 2 runs in the top of the fourth inning and led 2-1. Then in the top of the fifth inning, Mariano Duncan lines a single to center field, scoring Norm Charlton from third base, and the Reds led 3-1. Then later in the top of the fifth inning, Chris Sabo belts a double to the left center field wall. It scores Mariano Duncan from third base, and Billy Hatcher will score all the way from first. This double by Sabo gave the Reds a 5-1 lead. Then later in the top of the fifth inning, the Reds score again. Here, Paul O'Neill at the plate, and he will line a double to the right center field gap. It scores Chris Sable from second base, RBI number 41 for O'Neill, and the Reds led 6-1. Cincinnati scores 4 runs in the top of the fifth inning. The starting and winning pitcher in this game, Norm Charlton, went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 5 hits, and he struck out 4 batters. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning, he strikes out to Lionel DeShields. The Reds hold on and win 6-1. Charlton's the winner. He's 3-5. Chris Nabholz takes a loss. He's 2-4. The Reds win 6-1.
Cleveland, Joe Carter returning to Cleveland as his Toronto Blue Jays play the Cleveland Indians. In the top of the second inning, Cleveland Indian pitcher Greg Swindell will strike out the side. Here he gets Pat Borders to end the top of the second. Toronto comes up with a run in the top of the third inning. Roberto Alamo with the slow grounder. Felix Fermin with the play. But Manny Lee will score, making it 1-0. Toronto with the lead. David Wells pitched 8 innings for the Toronto Blue Jays, giving up 1 run on 4 hits, striking out 6. Here he gets Luis Medina in the bottom of the 5th inning. Good defense behind David Wells in this game. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Roberto Alamo with the nice play on this chopper by Mike Huff. Roberto Alamo with the off-balance throw to nail Mike Huff at first. Indians tie the game up at 1 in the bottom of the 8th. Jerry Brown with the base hit. Alex Cole, who was pinch running for Joel Skinner, will score as he trips rounding third base. And the game is tied at 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Great defensive play in the top of the 9th. Mike Huff will dive for this ball hit by Pat Tabler. Mike Huff of the Cleveland Indians coming up with a great defensive play in the top of the 9th inning off the bat of Pat Tabler. In the bottom of the 9th, the game is tied at 1. Cleveland has a chance to win the game. Runners on first and third, nobody out. Brooke Jacoby with the ground ball to Manny Lee, who throws it to Pat Borders to nail Felix Fermin. And we go into extra innings, tied at 1. Game remained a 1-1 tie until the bottom of the 12th inning. Ken Daly on the mound for the Blue Jays. He will hit Alex Cole with the bases loaded. Carlos Vallega will score. Indians win 2-1 in 12 innings. Winning pitcher was Sean Hilligus. He's 2-0. Losing pitcher was Jim Acker. He's 1-4.
A masterpiece early. He's pitching a perfect game, at least through the first 5 innings. Here in the second inning, he strikes out Brian Hunter to end the inning. The early offense in the contest supplied by the bat of Kevin McReynolds, who has yet to hit a Shea home run this year, and now he has. While for Charlie Leibrandt, the starter for Atlanta, McReynolds lines one into the seats in left field for a 2-run home run, his 5th homer of the year. New York leads at 2-0 through 4. Leibrandt says, well, maybe I should not have thrown that pitch quite where I did. Mark Carrion saves the Viola perfect game in the 6th inning. The first batter, Mike Heath, flies out to right field. Carrion makes a nice play in foul territory, and 16 retired in a row by Viola, who on the very next batter loses the perfect game in the strangest of ways. This is a strike 3 swinging, but it's also a wild pitch by Frank Viola, and Belliard reaches first base. Belliard on second base with 2 away. Ron Gant breaks up the no-hitter with a base hit, and New York now leads it 2-1 on the Gant RBI single, plating Rafael Belliard. And the rains have come in the 9th inning with New York leading 2-1. Frank Viola hands the ball to the ump as we're in a rain delay. And after 57 minutes, John Franco comes in relief to get Jeff Blauser to ground out to Franco to end it. And New York wins it 2-1. Frank Viola 7-3. Charlie Leibrandt 5-5. John Franco 13th save.
Tuesday night in Arlington, Texas, Nolan Ryan is on the mound for the Rangers as they host the Chicago White Sox. And it starts out as a pitcher's duel here in the top of the second inning. Ryan strikes out Sammy Sosa. His counterpart in this game is Alex Fernandez for the White Sox. And here we'll go to the bottom of the second inning, where Fernandez will throw a great curveball to Juan Gonzalez. This fools him and gets him looking, and that ends the second inning with no score. Now we go on to the top of the third inning, and Ryan throws another good curveball. That gets Dan Pasquale looking. In the bottom of the third inning, Fernandez will strike out Brian Downing with runners on first and second. The runners were moving, and Matt Murillo threw out Steve Buechele at third base. There was still no score after 3. The Rangers struck first in the bottom of the sixth inning. Mike Stanley hit a single to center field that scored Rafael Palmeiro, making the score 1-0 Texas. That gave Stanley 10 RBIs for the season. Then, after issuing his 5th walk of the game and loading the bases, Alex Fernandez was taken out in favor of Ken Patterson. So Fernandez had to look on as Patterson proceeded to walk Mario Diaz, and that forced in Juan Gonzalez, making the score 2-0 Texas. That turned out to be all the scoring in the game, and it was all Nolan Ryan needed. Here you see him striking out Frank Thomas in the top of the 8th inning for his 10th strikeout of the game. That's the 210th time in his career that he's reached the 10K mark. Then in the top of the 9th, you'll see him getting Lance Johnson to ground out to second base to end the game. Ryan goes all the way for the 6-hit shutout. It's the 61st shutout of his career, and that ties him for 8th on the all-time list with Tom Seaver. The Rangers win at 2-0, snapping an 8-game losing streak.
Howe, the manager of the Houston Astros, watching a pitching duel from the Houston Astrodome on Tuesday evening as the Philadelphia Phillies are in town. Pat Combs pitching a shutout through the early and middle innings thanks to his friends. Casey Candel with the line drive caught by Ricky Jordan. That ended the Houston 4th. And ending the Houston 5th, this is a Gerald Young ground ball that Dickie Thon makes a great play on, supporting Combs, and it was a double play. And the Astros and their friends in town for a pitching duel. Mark Portugal, meanwhile, is throwing zeros through the early and middle innings as well. This is John Kruk grounding out to end the 6th inning of play. The closest anyone came to scoring was when Craig Biggio was at the plate, bottom 6, with Casey Candel on first base. Biggio, the first extra base hit of the game, doubled down the left field line, and Candel tries to score, but he's ruled out at the plate. And the relay shows proper execution as John Kruk got the ball to Dickie Thon, who on one bounce gets it to Darren Fletcher, who supplies the tag, and remains scoreless through the late innings as well. We go to extra innings, the 11th inning, zip. Roger McDowell on the mound, bases loaded, 1 out. Ken Oberkfell walks. That's how this game ends. Exciting stuff, folks. 1-0, Houston wins it. Al Osuna, the winner, 2-2. Roger McDowell, the loser, 3-2. In 11 innings, the Astros a 1-0 winner.
Then in the top of the 6th inning, the Cardinals increase that lead as Milt Thompson hits his 2nd home run of the season. This is a 2-run shot to left center field that brings Ozzie Smith in to score. That gives Thompson 16 RBIs. So it was 3-0 Cardinals. Still in the top of the 6th inning, Gerald Perry hits what looks like a home run to right field. In fact, it's just foul. But on the very next pitch, Perry hits it to almost the exact same spot. This time it's fair. That's his 3rd home run of the season, a solo shot. That makes the score 4-0 St. Louis. It was still 4-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning when Fred McGriff cut that lead down to 1 with a 3-run home run. This is his 14th home run of the season. Bip Roberts and Tony Gwynn come in to score. That gave him 42 RBIs for the season, and it made the score 4-3 St. Louis. But in the top of the 8th inning, Thompson came up with his 3rd RBI of the game as he had a double to left center field that scored Smith and made the score 5-3 St. Louis. A sacrifice fly by Gerald Perry made the score 6-3, and then in the top of the 9th inning, Felix Jose hit his league-leading 18th double of the season with 2 men on. This is a shot to left field that scores Oquendo and Langford and makes the score 8-3 St. Louis. That gave him 27 RBIs for the year. Then, still in the top of the 9th inning, Bernard Gilkey came up as a pinch hitter. and he lined a single to left field that scored Jose and Smith, making the score 10-3 St. Louis. They went on to win by a final score of 10-4. The winning pitcher was Hill. He's 6-3. The loser, Melendez, is 1-2. Once again, the final score 10-4 St. Louis.